Good evening, campers, and welcome aboard the Starship Nightwish. I'm Commander Exorcist, and it is time, once again, for Talk O Tuesday. This is my weekly Elite Dangerous show where I pick a Galnet article and talk about it and read it, primarily from a lore perspective, but I will break the fourth wall if necessary. But before we get started with today's episode, there's a couple things that we need to kind of talk about. The first is a huge congratulations to the Elite Dangerous community as a whole, especially the AX folks, the guys that have been on the front line trying to take care of the Thargoid threat, the scientists that are doing research, the folks that are on the ground, people helping out with the refugees and the rescued humans from the Titans, because I'm trying to make sure I get my timelines right. Either late yesterday or today, which is the 21st of November, 3309, the Maelstrom Tyrannus no longer controls any system. So apparently we've completely eradicated that Maelstrom's sphere of influence. That's amazing. I remember when these things arrived about a year ago at this point, and it just really seemed like all hope was lost. It was just a matter of time before humanity fell to that. So fantastic job. It's great to see. I know it takes a long time, and it's kind of like the BGS. Just a lot of things take a lot of time and effort, but it is so cool to see the community continuing to fight, continuing to interact, and making a difference. And so the galaxy is much safer today than it was a year ago. Now, that's not to say we're winning, but we won the battle. There's still a lot of war left, and, we'll see what happens going into the future. But that is enough for that. The other thing I want to talk about is just kind of a plug. Frontier is having a massive sale on Steam at the moment. So if you're looking for a second, third, maybe fourth Elite Dangerous account, I think Elite is like 75% off, and Odyssey is like 65% off. So this is a great opportunity to pick up another copy of the game, or get one for your friends, get one for your grandma, your dog, whatever, and get them out there in the galaxy and exploring and doing science and all the other stuff that we like to do as Elite Dangerous Commanders. Which is just kind of a plug. Go to the Steam store. I don't think at the moment there are any sales on Epic or the Frontier store. If there are, you can follow social media, and we'll post that as well. But check out the autumn sale from Frontier. They didn't pay me to do this. They didn't ask me to do this. I just want to make sure that people know that our game is on sale. Go buy some of it. All right, here we go. The Alliance. Now, articles like these tend to bore me to death. So I'm going to do my best to make this entertaining. I promise not to be too melodramatic, but who knows what happens. So, just a guy in a hat reading an article. But apparently, there is some friction between Sirius Corporation and the Alliance. Imagine that. Is there anyone out there that doesn't have friction with Sirius Corporation? Seriously. It's not intentional. This is going to be really hard. This company is just, it doesn't have a good reputation. Let's just say that. It's nowhere near as evil as Aegis or Azimuth or any of the other crazy makers that we have out there. So we've got the Alliance reviewing its Sirius Defense Pack. So we're going to go through this, and I'll try not to put you to sleep with this kind of technical, political, diplomatic stuff. Here we go. The Alliance Assembly has approved a formal evaluation of its Strategic Defense Pact with Sirius Corporation. The vote to launch an independent inquiry was led by Councilor Nakato Kane, who summarized. This partnership has been in effect for nearly 2 years. What tangible military support have we seen? Sirius Corporation has done little to protect allied populations from attack or abduction. That's actually right. Have we seen? I honestly can't remember reading or seeing Sirius involved in any of this. It really is Aegis and Azimuth and, those guys that are actually an Imperial work. It's those guys that are actually getting things done. I haven't seen these dudes at all in this whole thing. Now, I may be wrong, and it might be something I missed, but I don't remember reading an article or doing anything like this that talks about Sirius's contribution to the war. So that's actually on target with that. The capital ships promised to the Alliance Defense Force remain on the drawing board. 2 years. 2 years into a war that promised capital ships to help defend their homeworlds, and it's still probably the first bolt has not even been tightened. The Sirius Navy isn't even engaging the Thargoid fleets on the front line of this war. Why would they? How much longer do we endure Li Yongru's empty promises? And yeah, you can make fun of me all you want. I am terrible at pronouncing names. If you watch this show long enough, you know it's like Frontier makes up names for me to have to try to pronounce. And I get it wrong. It's okay, though. Admiral Nicholas Glass, the Megacorp's representative on the Council of Admirals, disputed these claims. In truth, an enormous amount of work is taking place behind the scenes. Yeah, okay. When the military tells you that there's things happening behind the scenes, there's meetings going on, and that's about it. They're reviewing slideshows and proposals. They're not doing anything. Sirius technicians have retrofitted many aging ADF ships with modern weaponry and internal systems. We've invested significantly in new AX modules such as the Anti-Xeno missile rack and pre-engineered heatsink, and our blueprints formed the basis for Aegis' subsurface extraction missile. Maybe it did. I don't remember. Were they that heavily involved? Wow, I wish I'd have researched this. But like I said, I read these and I don't read these beforehand, but it'd be interesting to know. I can't remember. Somebody drop a comment and tell me if Sirius actually did these things, because I have a hard time believing it. Which has helped rescue so many from the Titans. Yeah, so many that they want to euthanize. God, that drove me insane. An editorial piece in the Old World's Gazette speculated the Strategic Defense Pact has led to some successes, such as the Operation Tindarius task force that repulsed a Thargoid incursion into Allied territory. But that was over a year ago, and the vision of a Sirius-backed Alliance Navy to rival the Empire or Federation has not materialized. So, Sirius Corporation is kind of dead set in the heart of the Federation, okay? So, you know, when I think of Sirius, I think of Earth and the Federation. I think of that, the local group of stars around Sol. And so, you know, I know that Sirius does a lot of work with the Empire and the Alliance, but if it was to come down to contributing resources to a superpower in terms of like capital ships, defensive equipment, maybe orbital defense systems, whatever, satellites, it seems like the Federation or the Empire would be a much more lucrative opportunity. And I use the word lucrative specifically because, remember, Sirius is a corporation with a bottom line. At the end of the day, yes, they're going to contribute to the war because it's good for humanity, and they want to show their peaceful side that they are, or not peaceful side, but their march toward peace in the name of war, because we got to fight the war to get peace. And they're doing things, right? They're doing things behind the scenes. But none of that matters if they're not making money. They've got to make money. And so that's the frustrating thing about something like Sirius is, like, you know, we can be seriously hard on them. But if they're not getting something in return, they can't sustain their operations. They need to make money to be able to pay people who work and do things, grow, expand the company, expand and create products and do things that help the war. They have to get something in return. So obviously they're not pumping out these capital ships and other things for the Alliance, I would say, because it's probably not a lucrative deal. It's probably very expensive. I mean, can you imagine what a capital ship costs and how much work is required to put something like that together and make sure that it's space-worthy, that it can go out and take thousands and thousands of people and fighters and operations and culinary operations and security and maintenance and all the things that are required to operate something like that. You know, the cost of that is massive. The Federation and the Empire, they have almost infinitely deep pockets of credits. And, you know, Sirius is obviously going to operate on a budget. They can only go so far. So I wonder if a big part of that has to do with, you know, the assets and, you know, whether it's appealing to be able to do that for the Alliance. So we'll see. As displeasure grows in the Assembly, the option to renegotiate the pact has been raised alongside Councillor Kane's proposal to terminate it entirely. Prime Minister Mahan faces political pressure to abandon his commitment to Sirius Corporation, especially now that a reformed Aegis is leading anti-xenotechnology development. I say cancel it. I don't have a dog in the fight. Doesn't matter to me. I'm out there. I'm just as liable to blow up a Sirius ship if I need it, if I need its cargo, or I get a good mission for it, as anybody else. Sirius doesn't matter to me. Neither does Aegis or Azimuth. So I really don't have a dog in the fight. I really don't care. But this is what we've got today to work with. But looking at this and looking at the story and kind of what's going on, I honestly think that that they should just cut off, especially if the Alliance is contributing money to Sirius, because if they're paying and they're not getting anything. So here's the deal. Here's what I think's happening. And if you look back at the paragraph when it talks about when the Megacorp representative, Nicholas Glass, when he's talking about how, they're contributing in the back, behind the scenes, and then he lists things like the heat sink and the extraction missile and all this other stuff. That's stuff we would have gotten anyway, because it came from Aegis and it came from those agencies working together. Yeah, Sirius may have had a little part in it. Actually, now I'm starting to wonder. I think I do remember talking about something like this, about a widget. Them looking to create proprietary information or equipment. There we go. So, this is stuff that at least for now is being given to everybody, or at least made available to everybody. So if they're pumping money into Sirius and they're really not getting anything that they wouldn't get anyway, why waste that money? Honestly, the Alliance should probably just start building their own ships. I think it's time for the Alliance to come together and be an alliance, build your own alliance navy and do this together. Don't rely on these scummy, seedy militarist corporations like Sirius to do your dirty work, because Sirius, I think Sirius over the years has been bogged down by the same bureaucracy that cripples like the Federation and the Empire in its military structure when it comes to immediate engagements. Like when we saw the reaction and the response to the Thargoid War, it was so delayed at times that it's the wheels of bureaucracy. They're basically brick and they're on fire, so it takes a long time for them to turn. But I think they should cut it off. I really do, because at this point you're not getting anything that you wouldn't get anyway. Now, if it comes up to the point where if there is a new technology and for some reason getting out of the Sirius contract is going to keep us from getting that technology, I guess we got to stay. We're slaves to the man and held captive, at least until the war's over. These are the disciples. So thank you, everybody. Thank you especially to the disciples for their support. Couldn't do it without you. If you would like to support this channel and the content that keeps coming out, and my other work on social media, artwork and photography and commentary, go to patreon.com/Commander Exorcist. I do occasional special videos and little things that don't get put here on the main channel, little updates and opportunities for some special incentives as well. So any support is appreciated. A like, a subscription, a comment, a share, or Patreon. I appreciate all of it. So thank you to the disciples. So that is Taco Tuesday. So not exactly the most interesting article, but it really does raise some questions. It raises some legitimate questions about whether, I think maybe the Alliance, it's time for them to step up and do their own thing. And if they're not able to, if the Alliance worlds are not able to come together and build their own thing, you really have to question the, how strong that Alliance actually is. We have to question the solidness of that foundation, because that really should be something that they all should contribute to. A unified navy of some kind. There's contractors out there that could build this stuff and do it, but I just don't think that Sirius at this point sees the benefit in kind of throwing all their money and operations into the Alliance, when the reality is that the money is with the Federation and the Empire. That's where the cash is. And they're a company, so that's what they're going to chase. They're going to put on their war face, and they're going to provide us weapons, and we're going to fight, and that's going to be it. But at the end of the day, Sirius is seriously a corporation, and we all know how that goes. So, everybody, thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for your time and hanging out with me for Taco Tuesday out there on Saturday. I will see you then. So, everybody, take care, fly safe, and I will see you out there. Good night, everybody.